Are we properly exposed? It looks like we're slightly overexposed once again. So I'll just bring that down, not up. Bring it down. 2 notches. Okay, 1 full stop down. Okay, we are on the Panasonic 8 to 18. Maybe I'll bring this in a bit. Are we okay? I think I can afford to bring this in a little bit more. What is that now? Oh, it usually tells me how many millimeters zoomed in. 12. So this is a 24 millimeter equivalent. Yes, so welcome to, I don't know what day it is, day 5. Don't know. We are today technically only testing out a couple of things. The first thing we're testing out is that the camera is mounted on my usual 3 suction mechanism that goes on the windscreen of a car. I've never used this thing with this camera. Technically it should work fine because this camera and this lens combo is lighter than what the GH5 was. So should be okay tomorrow, but I thought I'd just make sure that the mechanism wasn't wonky or anything, because I have had that issue before with this weird triple suction thing. It was not made for DSLRs. It wasn't made for mirrorless cameras. It was made for GoPros, I think. And I've been meaning to upgrade it. It's just that an upgrade for just this mechanism is not cheap. Like, this thing is like, I think 50 to 60 bucks, which is not cheap, but I mean, it's fine because it does the job okay most of the time. The problem is the upgrade to this is something like 300 ringgit minimum. I've seen used options for around 200 something, but new options are pretty expensive, and I'm surprised because it's not that complicated. I mean, maybe it is more complicated, I shouldn't assume, but it doesn't feel like a 300 ringgit problem to solve, you know what I mean? Like, if the suction cups like start at like $5, sometimes they throw it in with the dash cam for free, right? So they can start pretty low. Why is it that when you start adding a bit more load, suddenly it goes from being a $5 problem to a 300 ringgit problem? So anyway, that's the side rant. I'm thinking about upgrading. I mean, something with an Arca Swiss plate would be sweet, but my other worry is also that I don't know how big these things are. Sometimes they're so big and bulky. Like, there's one by Telesin that looked so big that it might not fit in certain cars. Like, it might take up so much space on that windscreen and, you know, not have enough space for the camera to sit between the dashboard and the... So I'm still debating it. I definitely should do it. In fact, I didn't think I was going to have a test car so soon. Like, I thought I'd have like a couple of extra days with the car and then by Friday shoot the car, but tomorrow's Wednesday and I have to shoot the car tomorrow. So I don't have time to go out and look for one. I found the used one, like I said, for 200 something. I thought of going and getting that and then testing it out day by day with the car, with different lenses and seeing how it works. But it looks like tomorrow's the review, morning as well, so no time to do anything, no testing. So we're doing that test now with this triple suction. My worry is that when the car turns, it's going to swing left and right, but I don't know. That is hope. Besides that, the other thing that we're testing is we're shooting in 1080p, still on 25 frames per second. Mostly because I can't sort out the shutter issue. It's stuck at 1 out of 50, which is fine if we're doing 25p, but we cannot do 50p, unfortunately. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to do the talking head stuff in 25p. I think that's fine. I mean, after all, it's the more cinematic look, right? I thought of doing 30 FPS, but we are a PAL region, and to avoid any flicker problems, just set it to 25p, I suppose. 30 I think is possible, and I think the shutter speed will adjust to 1 out of 60th of a second, but let's just keep it at this and avoid any complication. The only, I guess, complication is that iPhone shoots at 30p, so if I'm going to combine iPhone footage with this, it'll look maybe a little bit messy. Maybe it can convert and make things okay in post, but yeah, that's my slight worry, but it's not a major worry. So what I want to see is whether this 1080p footage, because it's recorded in that all-I format, whereas the 4K was in long GOP. So this is all-I, and 8-bit. I want to see how big the files are, because if the files are as big as 4K, then I'm just going to record in 4K. I don't know how big the files are. 4K seems to be like 1 gig a minute, more or less. It's probably a bit less actually, because yesterday I shot for I don't know how long, 20 plus minutes, and it took like 20 plus gigabytes, which will make editing a little bit tougher, and uploading and processing on YouTube takes much longer in 4K, like significantly longer. So if I can keep this show on 1080p and retain quality, and the video ends up being much smaller, so let's see if it's smaller than 1 gig a minute. Right now we're already at 6 minutes. Wow. So if this is a 6 gigabyte file, then we know lah. But does it seem like it? Because we have 1 minute and 12 seconds of footage left. Is it? Yeah, more or less. So it could be still 1 gig a minute. Anyway, I think we record at most about 2 hours of episodes at a time, 2 hours of footage. So maybe it'll be fine. We shall see. Besides that, what else do I have to update on? I think technically that's the only thing we're testing. We're testing this, and are we recording? Yeah, the green light is on. The green light is on here. So unfortunately, today the EM5 Mark III battery did not arrive. A bit sad, but whatever, it's going to arrive tomorrow, so just have to be a bit patient. What else? So yeah, I can't test whether that works now. I was really looking forward to it working. Getting a bit itchy now, like looking at other options. If the EM5 Mark III doesn't work, should I get another EM5 Mark III and pay that $2,500? But it doesn't make sense. Also thinking, if I do sell one of my other cameras, do I substitute it with like that money when it comes in? Because I've already paid for this setup, basically. Like no money had to go out. So if more money comes in from selling my other stuff, what do I upgrade my current setup? Like, is there like a need to upgrade? Of course there isn't. Like I can run my whole show with the stuff I have, obviously. But if I do get rid of everything, right? Let's say I get rid of a couple of pancake lenses that I don't need. I'm going to keep that 14 and that 20 f1.7. I think I'm going to keep those. But let's say I get rid of everything. Let's say, like what pancake would I keep around? I think the 14. I kind of feel like the 14 is a nice walk around lens. It's fast enough, but the 20 is also a nice walk around lens. But the 14 is a bit more versatile for selfie videos on the go. I don't know. Should I get rid of my pancakes? This is the problem. I really like the concept of Micro Four Thirds pancake lenses, because they make the camera so small. A GM5 with like the 14mm will be like so compact. But here's the thing, a GM5 with a 14mm pancake, I think it's still a bit bigger than the RX100. Because the RX100 has like, the sensor is a bit smaller, but that lens like retracts into the body and it's just flat, right? And then when it opens up, it's like an equivalent of 24mm or 20mm, something like that, all the way to like 100 plus mil. So it's like a super zoom lens in a body that's tiny. So what is the point of the pancake on the GM1 and the GM5? Just doesn't really make sense. It's not like you're getting a smaller package than an RX100. You're getting a slightly more capable package, but without the zoom range. So then you think, okay, like what if I put a 12 to 32 pancake lens on the GM1, right? So the smallest body with the smallest stabilized pancake lens. Well, okay, fine, you're getting optical stabilization, which I think the RX100 already does. And with that lens, it's definitely still bigger than the RX100. That 12 to 32 is a little bit bigger than the 14, if I'm not mistaken. They're both similar, but I think the 12 is a bit bigger. And yeah, you're getting a zoom range on the 12 to 32. But if I'm not mistaken, the 12 to 32, I mean, to my subjective knowledge, the image quality is not superb. I mean, it's fine. I don't think it's the best, and I don't think it's terrible. But it's not, when I get the pictures out of that lens, I'm never like blown away. I don't know. And I don't like using it, it just feels very plasticky, and maybe because mine is in silver, so it doesn't really match the body so well. It doesn't feel good, like you're putting a cheap lens on a really good camera. It doesn't complement it. The whole time you have that lens on, you're always thinking like, I could have a solid proper prime lens. I could have the Leica 25 on your camera right now, because once it's zoomed out, it does look a little bit longer. So I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, what I was saying is, what should I like? Imagine getting rid of all my primes, right, and getting decent money for it. Let's say my 12 to 32 is $300. Let's say my 14 to 42 with that zoom is another 300. Let's say so that's $600. And then let's say the 14 to 40, the 25 2.5 is another 300. Let's say the 20 mil is another 600. So now we've got 1,005 from selling all the prime lenses that I have, right? Sorry, the pancake lenses that I have. Okay, so with that out of the way, of course it's a bit unfortunate because now I can't have a pocketable EM5. Sad. But what can I replace all of that, like that 1,005? Where does it go, right? So one idea is, like today I was filming, I used my OM-1 in a professional setting again. It was a Proton upcoming car, which we can't talk about. So we went to their the actual like headquarters in Chalam to do some tests and like take some pictures and video. And I shot everything with this OM-1, mostly with this 8 to 18 mil lens for the interior shots, because there was not a lot of space to use any telephoto. So even the 50 mil, I don't think it would have worked so well. And also I wanted to get a lot of interior shots. So using the wide angle of this, I got like most of my work done. But while we were on the test track, this lens was mounted on the camera by like when I was getting to the test track. But once I got on the test track, I was like, there are going to be instances where the car is really far away. So I found myself like swapping in the 60 mil Sigma that I have. And then as the car got, I was like driving closer by, I was like, oh, what do I do now? I can't get a shot because the car is too close. So then I was like, oh, should I switch to the 25 mil prime? And then I was just like, oh, this is so ridiculous. Why don't I have like a good general purpose zoom? Because I have that super zoom. I have the 12 to 200 mil, which I used to use for everything. And that's great because like any focal length, is the car really far away? Yeah, all the way to 200, take a shot. Is the car like close up? I need some interior shots. Yeah, zoom like wide and get 12 mil, get everything in the range, right? But I don't have a good quality general purpose lens. I have a 4/3 14 to 54, and I think I should have just brought that for general photos. But I don't think that works for video. It like doesn't have autofocus for video. So yeah, I don't know. I could just use this 8 to 18 for video because I don't really need far away video shooting capabilities. It's 8 to 18 does fairly well for video for my kind of video needs. The 36 mil equivalent at the far end is more than enough for my kind of video shooting. So I don't know. For photos, maybe I can just use that because I already have the lens. It's a great lens. Produces very nice results. So don't need to spend money, but hear me out. Imagine I sold all my pancakes and bought a 12 to 40 Pro f2.8 for everything, like for video work and all that. There's a few options. The 12 to 40 2.8 is a little bit large, but it's a 2.8 constant aperture throughout the zoom range, right? So 12 to 40, it's 2.8. I think Panasonic has an equivalent. They have two equivalents, or two or three equivalents. They have the 12 to 35. I think they've got a Mark 1 and a Mark 2, and that's a power zoom. A power OIS lens, which won't work on this, unfortunately, the stabilization. But it's still a constant f2.8 aperture. I believe there's a Leica version. I might be wrong. And when I'm looking at the used prices, like the non-Leica version is like 1,008, and I think the Mark II is like 2,000, and then the Leica version is like 2.8. So it's like, yeah, you might as well get the Leica version, just a little bit extra, try to nego to 2.5 or something like that. And that 12 to 35 is a little bit smaller. I think the 12 to 40 is like that big, and the 12 to 35 is smaller, so might make sense as a general purpose high quality zoom. But I haven't done like enough investigation into these lenses. I heard the 12 to 40 is like an excellent all-rounder lens, the Olympus one, and it feels kind of solid. I just don't like the retro look. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's got that manual clutch and stuff like that for focusing. I'd rather have a manual aperture ring, you know. So then I think about the 15mm Leica lens. Is it Leica? It's a Lumix lens, 15mm with the aperture control ring. That thing's like 1,005 now used. It's tempting, but I'm not really a fan of the 30mm range. And I already have this that goes to 18, so I can stop it to like, I mean, I can put the range to like 15, and then I have a Leica 15 now. You know, so what's the point of that? Then I also think about the 9mm Leica super wide lens, the prime. That would be a good compact run and gun setup, because that would go on the EM5 and be super light, and it's a little bit thicker than a pancake lens, but 9mm super wide GoPro like stability could be a nice lens. I mean, I've been thinking about that lens from day one. Issue is like that's 2,200, so even if I sold all my pancakes to get that one lens, it still wouldn't cover it. I'd still have to top up. Yeah, I can sell a couple other things. I'm sure if I sell one other camera, I could like buy that lens, but not really necessary. Like, do I need the 9mm? I already have this that does 8mm, just not as fast. We'll see tomorrow when we shoot this camera with this lens in the conditions that we normally shoot. So like bright sun when we're outside, might have to slap my ND filter on, so I won't be packing my lens hood because that kind of gets in the way of the filter. What we'll do is we will shoot the outdoor shot with the ND filter on and see what the camera does with exposure, and then we will, for the indoor shots, get the filter off, maybe pop the lens hood back on, and then go all the way to 8mm. And yeah, actually this lens could be like everything we possibly need, right? We just need probably a better mount, and yeah, spending $300 for a good mount compared to spending like $2,000 for a smaller 9mm lens. I think maybe I'm just overthinking it. And yeah, walking around with this lens, even though it is a bit heavier, I think the ability to move from 8mm all the way down to like 15 to 18, to get a proper, less distorted look of the car, I think that's more valuable than having that 9mm lightweight setup. We shall see. I don't want to put this thing on a gimbal. The whole point of it is just to not put it on a gimbal, I think. So we shall see. Maybe if the EM5 Mark III does work, and I can put my 14mm on there, and it works as a good B cam, then that can be the run and gun setup, and I can match it to this 8-bit footage. That would be a seamless seamless transition. Just have to make sure that this thing is rolling with the mic. Yeah, tomorrow will be a major test for this camera. What else do I want to talk about? I don't know. I managed to submit a second draft of my assignment. I haven't studied today though, but I didn't have enough sleep last night because I was doing that assignment until like 3 in the morning. So I only got like less than 4 hours of sleep, and then I had a nap just now, so now I have 5.5 hours of sleep. And it's already 11:30. I gotta wake up at 7 for tennis. So yeah, just not getting enough sleep this last 24 hours. But what I enjoyed was I had a good time at Proton, testing out their can't say what. And then I tried to see one of my uncles who got injured, but he went to stay with his daughter. I didn't realize, I didn't call in advance, but I just wanted to make an impromptu visit because his house is near the Proton HQ. So I couldn't see him, but I called my auntie and just chit-chatted and just checked up on him through my auntie. Seems like he's doing okay, and this is Gobi Edition we're talking about. And then after that I went to visit my other auntie, and I saw my cousin's daughter, who's, I don't know how many months is she now? She must be 6+ months now. So I got to have some one-on-one time with my niece. Is she my niece? Cousin niece? I don't know. What do you call that? Probably just niece. Yeah, she didn't cry when she saw me, so that's a good sign, I think. And got to hang out with my grandmother and my grandmother's brother, so my granduncle. He's injured, so I wanted to go and see him as well. I knew he was in the hospital. I just didn't know which ward or which hospital exactly. So I went to see my grandmother to get that information, and she was like, "Well, I want to go and see him, so why don't you take me there?" So I brought her to the hospital to go and see my granduncle, and he seems to be in good spirits. He had a fall and injured his knee, some small hairline thing. Hopefully, it's not so serious. The doctor says it's a minor thing. He's going into op on Thursday. Yeah, hope he has a painless and speedy recovery, because that man's a good man. He gave me my first car, and he gave me like not my second car, but he gave me another car. He basically gave me two cars. I have not repaid the favor. Terrible grand nephew. Anyway, yeah, then after that I got my XC90 test car from my colleague Ross. He has lost so much weight. He's now like 70.3 kilograms. He used to be like over 100. He lost so much weight. Good for him. And just through discipline, just not eating, not overeating, controlling his diet. It's brought down his weight like crazy. So I think he's gonna go on the up and up in terms of health. He said he's trying to get past that 70 kilo barrier, but it's very difficult. I'm sure he can do it. Just needs a bit of time. I need to get down in weight. I'm not at my thinnest, but I am trying to exercise more. I exercised yesterday, just don't have the energy for it today, and I overate. I shouldn't have eaten so much for dinner. I was already full and I didn't want to go have dinner, but my wife was hungry, and then when I saw like what was on the menu, I was like, I need to have that. And halfway through the meal, I was just like, oh, this is so disgusting. But I hate wasting food, so I ate as much as I could and I gave her the rest. And then after that, I just felt like throwing up the whole time. But by the time we came up here and I went to the toilet, now I feel so much better, but I still don't feel great. Like, definitely not in the mood to exercise. Plus it's getting late and I want to do this and I want to do some editing and stuff like that. So exercise tomorrow. I got tennis in the morning anyway, so that's my exercise quota. We got 22 plus minutes on the clock. I think we're okay. I think the only challenge that I foresee is that if we run out of time, I think it's going to freak out and not know to push video into the other card slot. But 1 hour and a half should be enough, I hope. And if it's not enough, then I will just do like a memory card swap. Just like pop it out, pop it in. Should be okay. Yeah, that's it, I guess. Maybe a 256 gigabyte SD card upgrade will be on the horizon for the video part of things. Who knows? I don't want to be carrying around extra SD cards. Part of the reason I moved away from the action cam was bringing the action cam around is small. Yeah, you can use like a super small suction clamp, and the camera itself is so small you don't have to carry an extra lens. The issue with this is that you have to carry 3 or 4 extra batteries, and you have to carry extra SD cards because you will run out. And if you forget to bring any of those, then your shoot is ruined, and that has happened to us with the action cam before. So didn't want to stick with that formula, and that's why I went back to my G85. Like, so much fewer issues with the G85, because one SD card, 64 gigs, shooting 1080p was fine. Never ran out of space on that, and the battery was fine. You just have to have 2 batteries, and usually even one battery you can get away with like 45 minutes to 1 hour of shooting. So yeah, I never really had that backup battery issue with the G85. Once or twice, yes, but only because we shot too long. Then once we got the GH5, like, all the problems were kind of solved. You still kind of had to carry around extra batteries. So this OM-1, hopefully battery is strong. It says we have 64 minutes of battery left, but we have 54 minutes of footage, like SD card storage left. I don't know, maybe I'll make a third profile where it doesn't record in all eye. We'll see. We'll look at the footage. Maybe I should have done that to begin with and see if there's a there's any difference at all in quality. Well, we'll see. I want to increase the quality, so if shooting in online means better quality, then why go down in quality, right? Okay, that's it for today. Got to get this up without any edits.